Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers sign former 3-year contributor of the Bengals, report. The Pittsburgh Steelers wasted no time filling one of their open practice squad spots after the trio of cuts that occurred at the 2024 NFL trade deadline. The Steelers have signed former Cincinnati Bengals defensive tackle Dominique Davis to their practice squad. Steelers now beat reporter Alan Saunders informed on X, Davis played D2 ball and in the USFL before getting his shot in Cincy, where he spent the last 2.5 seasons. KPRC2 NFL insider Aaron Wilson also confirmed this signing on November 5. Davis first entered the league as an undrafted rookie out of North Carolina Pembroke in 2020. He signed with the New York Jets organization but was cut later that summer. From there, Davis dropped out of the NFL for a couple of seasons according to the football database, playing during the spring league with the TSL Justers. He later joined the USFL Houston Gamblers in spring of 2022 before making his NFL return that summer. At that point, Davis found a home with the Bengals, and he's been there ever since. The longtime Cincy staff favorite didn't appear in many regular season games with the Bengals, 2 total, but he did serve as organizational depth from 2022 through parts of 2024. He has 3 career regular season tackles and 1.5 preseason sacks. Davis has yet to record a regular season sack despite his preseason flashes. During his stint in the USFL, he logged 3.5 sacks as a member of the Gamblers. The Davis signing aims to strengthen the depth behind Keanu Benton with veteran Montravius Adams on the injured reserve. Currently, Pittsburgh already has Braden Fehoko and Jacob Slade employed on the practice squad at the position, but it's considered to be a weaker area of the roster. Ahead of the deadline, certain members of the media even predicted that the Steelers could look to address the interior defensive line via trade, and perhaps general manager Omar Khan did. No move was made, however, and the Swifty tackle addition makes some sense in that regard. Davis weighs in at 6'2" and 330 pounds. That puts the 28-year-old lineman on the smaller side compared to the rest of the Steelers' DL, similar to Fehoko and Slade. We'll see if he does enough to stick around in Pittsburgh for the remainder of the season. The Athletic graded the Steelers' 2 deadlines deals a B and a B+, with the general reaction being that they were low-risk moves that could provide a notable impact. PennLive reporter Nick Farabaugh discussed the exact details of each affordable trade return on November 5. Sources tell PennLive that the Steelers' own 7th-round pick will be heading to Green Bay in the Preston Smith deal, not one of the 2 7th-round picks they acquired in the Kenny Pickett trade, Farabaugh noted. Continuing, meanwhile, whichever 5th-round pick ends up lower will be the one going to the New York Jets, for Mike Williams. The Steelers have their own 5th-round pick as well as the Los Angeles Rams' 5th-round pick from the Kevin Dotson trade. Per Farabaugh, Pittsburgh currently still holds every 2025 pick from the top 4 rounds, as well as 1 5th and 2 7ths, unless Justin Fields plays 51% of snaps. If he does, the conditional 6th-rounder that was traded for Fields becomes a 4th. Dan Orlovsky raves about Steelers' trade for Mike Williams. This is a big deal. Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Omar Khan made some big moves right before the trade deadline, acquiring wide receiver Mike Williams from the New York Jets and defensive end/outside linebacker Preston Smith from the Green Bay Packers. It seems like the con artist worked his magic again, grabbing 2 veteran playmakers for 2025 5th and 7th-round picks, respectively. Former quarterback and ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky spoke about Mike Williams' fit with the Steelers on ESPN's NFL Trade Deadline SportsCenter special on Tuesday afternoon. "I think it's huge. I really do," Orlovsky said. "I'm not trying to say that Mike Williams is 2020 Mike Williams, but Mike Williams is still a good player. He's still making contested catches. There's not going to be a ton of separation. Russell Wilson doesn't care about that. Think about how much you can play the game between him and George Pickens. How much then can you play the game with him, George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, or your run game? If you give Mike Tomlin one deep ball shot a quarter, whether you hit it or not, the butterfly effect on your football team is massive. Defenses then have to constantly pay attention to it. The fear of that big explosive play transforming or changing the game. The threat of if we don't favor to that side, then that's going to be one-on-one. It makes it easier and creates more space for everyone else on that offense. This is a big deal, big deal for Pittsburgh when it comes to Mike Williams. Orlovsky champion Justin Fields throughout the season, consistently claiming he deserved to start over Russell Wilson. But over the last few weeks, he's come around with his opinion and he's credited Wilson for his excellent play. Orlovsky analyzes quarterbacks about as well as anyone in the NFL media, so it's fantastic to hear his full endorsement of Mike Williams' fit with Wilson and the Steelers' offense. Like he said, Williams isn't the receiver that he was at age 26 or 27 while playing for the Los Angeles Chargers, particularly before his recent ACL surgery. However, he can still go up and snag jump balls down the field. The Steelers don't need or expect him to be a possession receiver, getting 7 or 8 targets per game. Instead, he should open the field up with the threat of a few deep shots throughout the game, and he's another big red zone target for an offense that struggles to score 7 from inside the 20-yard line. George Pickens receives the majority of opposing secondary's attention, and adding Williams will make the job of safeties and outside cornerbacks that much harder. They'll likely have to leave one of the two receivers in one-on-one coverage frequently, and both players are more than capable of winning those battles along the sideline. Williams may only don the black and gold for just one season, but Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin are banking on a veteran talent who could potentially push the offense one step further. That, in turn, could lead to the Steelers' first playoff win since 2016 and a chance for a 7th Lombardi Trophy. Pittsburgh Steelers NWR Hunt, land Jets Mike Williams in trade. Sources confirmed to Penn Live that the Pittsburgh Steelers have agreed to a trade with the New York Jets, in which Mike Williams will be sent to Pittsburgh for a 5th-round pick. Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports was the first to report the news that Williams was heading to Pittsburgh. The Steelers had wanted Williams for weeks, but the Jets had been unwilling to move on from him just yet. Now, they were willing to trade him, and the Steelers would get a player they had pursued since the offseason. The Jets signed Williams during his off-season visit with the team, but the Steelers had a visit scheduled with Williams after that. Williams suffered a torn ACL last season while playing with the Los Angeles Chargers. He is a 6'4", 218-pound wide receiver who can block and catch jump balls on the outside for the team, fitting well with what Russell Wilson does. He has struggled this season, however, amassing just 155 receiving yards on 12 receptions. Williams became buried in the depth chart after the Davante Adams trade, but when Allen Lazard got injured, Williams ended up starting as an outside wide receiver for the team. Even still, the Jets were willing to move Williams, and the Steelers added a former first-round pick to their wide receiver room. Williams, 30, was on a 1-year contract with the Jets. He will be a free agent this March. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike Williams? Leave your opinion in the comments.